Hi, I'm Joe Finsternis, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you about a movie called Arthur Christmas. So, while this may not be the first, while it's not the first animated film that I've reviewed, I'm, excuse me, I'm pretty sure that this is the first family film that I've talked about on this channel. And, I've made it no secret that I enjoy a good family flick along with some of the adult-oriented films that I watch. In past videos, I've made mentions of movies like Muppets Most Wanted and Big Hero 6. And the reason I decided to review this film on here is because, for one thing, it's the right time of year for it. And for another thing, this is one of those movies that's been built around so much hype. I mean, back in 2011, when the previews for this film started coming out, I just kind of thought to myself, that might be fun. It looks okay, but it just sort of came and went, and I never really bothered with it. But once the reviews started popping up on YouTube, I was hearing pretty much nothing but good things about the movie. And then Jeremy Jahns ended up naming it as one of the best films from 2011. And I believe it was just last year that the Nostalgia Critic did a whole video on why he considers Arthur Christmas to be a modern holiday classic. So I thought to myself, this movie might be worth a look. So I finally sat down and watched it, and in a nutshell, the movie follows this guy named Arthur, obviously, who on the night of Christmas Eve discovers that one present has been left behind, one child has been missed, and he makes it his mission to deliver this present to her before the sun rises on Christmas morning. Now, right off the bat, I liked how this movie kind of explains some of the mythology behind Santa Claus. For one thing, how does this guy live so long? I don't even quite recall, but I think he was supposed to be around since the 18th century with St. Nicholas. But according to this movie, it's sort of a father and son business. There's this long line of Santas, and the suit has just been passed down over the generations. And they also explain how he gets so much done in one night by showing the elves doing all of the work. And I liked how they made it like this big action scene at the beginning of the film as they showed the elves delivering these presents. It was almost like watching a Mission Impossible movie. Even though it's a cartoon, I would say that it still feels about as realistic as the second Mission Impossible movie. And Santa Claus himself, meanwhile, who currently is this family member named Malcolm, he's more of a figurehead than anything. There's a scene where he takes one present and puts it under one tree so that he can feel accomplished, and that's about it. And he's got two sons. Arthur is one of them. He's got an older son named Steve who makes everything high-tech and is concerned with making everything Christmas, just as efficient as possible. But at the same time, he's kind of a douche. He doesn't believe that there's any room for emotion around the holidays. It's all just to be done as efficiently and fast-paced as possible. There aren't really any bad guys in the movie, but Steve is probably about the closest you're going to get to a villain here. And, while Arthur's heart is in the right place, he's a lot less efficient than his brother, and a little less likely to become the next Santa Claus. He's a nervous wreck, he's afraid of everything, and he's more likely to get things wrong. But my favorite character out of all of them is the Grand Santa. For one thing, he's voiced by one of my favorite British actors, Bill Nighy, who, for those of you who aren't aware, he was Victor in the Underworld movies. He also played Davy Jones in two of the Pirates of the Caribbean films. In this one, he's the elder Santa Claus, the oldest one who's still living, and he is easily the funniest character in the movie. He has some of the most inappropriate jokes. It isn't, don't get me wrong, it isn't like the Cat in the Hat where they just force these awkward innuendos into the movie. I'm just saying that his jokes would be a little more accessible to the older crowd. But once again, it never feels forced or awkward. There's nothing sexual or uncomfortable about it. And on top of being a good comedy, this movie definitely made me feel good. It's, I wouldn't say that it's a tearjerker necessarily. It didn't make me cry, but there were a few moments that really got me. And it's an exciting adventure movie to watch as well. You know, you wouldn't expect a film about this guy who gets this small team together to deliver one present to be this big, exciting adventure movie, but there were a couple of scenes that actually had me on the edge of my seat while watching this. So, in the end, I would say that it definitely lives up to the hype. I would consider it a modern classic. And, you know, there was recently this one idiot who tried telling me that animation doesn't count as real filmmaking, which I know that we all have our opinions, but I do consider that to be an idiotic statement because it is a medium that takes a lot of effort, and when it's done well, I think it deserves a little respect. And I think that Arthur Christmas deserves respect, which is why I highly recommend it for this holiday season. So that's all I've got to say about this movie. I hope y'all have a good one.